Welcome to WagerTalk. Last call Saturday. I'm the prop queen, Ariel Epstein, filling in all summer long for Kelly in Vegas until, of course, Kelly comes to visit me. Then I'm taking that Saturday off because we are going to the Yankees game. I'm going to the Yankees game today, actually. So right after this show, darting out of here and getting the Yankees O's, which starts at 1:05 p.m. Eastern time. We've got a ton of Major League Baseball today. We've got Premier Lacrosse. We've got NASCAR. We've got, everything. There's everything that we have covered here over at WagerTalk Last Call. Today, we're going to have Yanni the Greek take you behind the counter because he's going to tell you where all the sharp action is. We've also got Tokyo Brandon. He's going to talk some baseball. And we've got Steve Merril, and we'll talk some NBA because we've got the NBA Finals Game 7 tomorrow. I can't believe that we have a Game 7. Actually, I think that if you would have asked the entire sports world if we would have had a Game 7 in the NBA or in the NHL, I would probably guess 98% of the public would be on the NHL to have had 7 games. Yanni the Greek knows what the public's doing, and he knows what the sharps are doing. So let's bring him on, the one and only VR Vegas runner, Yanni the Greek in Las Vegas. Happy Saturday.
Thank you for having me. Busy morning already as everyone awaits tomorrow's Game 7. We got a lot today, though. There's, like you said, there's UFC, MLB.
Oh, I left out College World Series.
College World Series, NASCAR. There's all kind of markets to make some money. So
what's getting attacked the most so early this morning?
Huh?
What's getting attacked the most this morning?
Baseball. We bet one WNBA play. I'll give you that now. I sent it to subscribers, the 3% free play for you guys on Chicago plus 11. That got bet up for -8 last night. One group laid the 8. That got bet up. We came in and took the 11 this morning. There's still some 11s out there, 10.5s mostly on Chicago. So if you agree with me, we're on the Chicago side, fading that line move on the favorite and taking the dog. Otherwise, like I said, it's mostly Major League Baseball. And of course, I'm excited for UFC coming up in the next hour. So early MMA today.
I'm going to be a little selfish. I know that everyone wants Yanni's UFC stuff, but I want Yanni's baseball stuff. So Yanni, where should we be looking on the board in Major League Baseball?
All right, start off early with the Mets. 905 Mets at dog. Dog price, anything. Plus 101 or better. They're willing to take the Mets. Figure it's a coin flip at worst. And over 9.5 up to -130. So they went over 9 and over 9.5 up to -130. Mets and over. 918 LA Angels at even money and -105. So took them as a dog and laid a little bit of juice to take the LA Angels as well. Cleveland 919. That's Cleveland -115. 925 Boston plus 115. And last but not least, I'll give you a total as well. 910 Washington and the Dodgers being dummied up through 9 at 9.5. That one's going to get steamed under. So under in Washington and the Dodgers. Don't let that phony line move scare you. That's just a little manipulation from the overnight. So there's a lot of that going on.
That happens with the Dodgers every day. They are the team. Them and the Rockies, just polar ends of the spectrum. A sucky team and a great team. The Dodgers always seem overnight to move. The line moves against them nearly every night, and then it bounces back 2 hours before first pitch. And the same for the Rockies. The line will always move 20 cents in their favor, and then it will bounce back right before first pitch. Would you say those are two teams that we should stay away from?
Yeah, unless again, what's happening there, like where they're fading the team earlier, backing the team early, then betting the late move. The late move's always the real move. It's always the truest move because you don't have any time to maneuver after that. So I always trust the latest moves the most because a lot of times also that's when the most information's factored into the bet. So a lot of times, the late information will have them come off a bet. So sometimes that's just a buyback based on later information. It's not always a case of manipulating the line to get a better number opposite later. Sometimes it's just a change of information as hours go by from when that earlier bet was placed. So that's going to happen a lot. But it's also a game of getting out ahead of the market. A team like the Dodgers, the public's going to bet them more times than not. In Colorado, public going to fade them more times than not. It's a way to take advantage of what the recreational bettors are going to do as well by manipulating the line a little bit. So I would definitely pay a lot more attention to the late move than the early moves for sure.
Yanni, UFC action, anything there from you?
Yeah, a lot of UFC today. I'm going to give you a favorite that I like. The line's dropping. You're seeing a little bit going against me here, but I just think they're wrong. I think Young Park, that line should be climbing. I think he should be at least a minus 250, closer to a 3-1 favorite in this matchup. You got to remember, Nardiev left the UFC, went and fought over at Brave. He did okay. He kind of split. Then the UFC gave him a fight. He came back in his last fight. He got a win. That's against a guy who had lost like 5 in a row, has 1 win in his last 8 fights. So I just don't see any value in this dog. I just don't think he's proven it at this level. And with the Iron Turtle, his problem is if you have power on the other end, like if you could get his respect early, otherwise he's just going to systematically break you down. And I think Nardiev just doesn't have that power coming back the other way. So I think Park's the right side there. Anything less than minus 200, I really do think he's the right side. Then in the co-main event, I'm seeing the line move on Bahamondes, and I also think he's the right side. A lot younger than Fiziev. All the pressure's on Fiziev, back to the wall. I know this is a step up for Bahamondes, but I really do think he's ready for it. This is going to be a stand-up fight, and I'll take the guy with the 5-6 inch reach every single time. I don't see much grappling at all in this one. And I think Bahamondes, with his youth, with his speed, should have the advantage. So I agree with that market move there. So I like 2 little favorites. I like Bahamondes and I like Young Park, both in the early UFC action today.
Yanni, for the main event, Hill, Roundtree Jr., anything, or how would you tell people to play the main event?
Well, here's the bottom line. Roundtree came out as the favorite, and that was recency bias because Roundtree's stock went up on a loss. What happened was he filled in and fought Pereira. Pereira at that time was arguably top 2 or 3, number 1 guy on the planet, pound for pound type of top 3. And he was getting all the hype. And because Roundtree was able to push him into the 5th round. And more importantly, there was a moment there where he was actually ahead on the scorecards, where if he got it to the decision, he probably would have been the champ. He got so much hype from that loss that I think the price was reflective of that and nothing else. And it almost was the perfect storm because you have Hill on the flip side. He's coming on back-to-back knockout losses, but against much stiffer competition. Like, this is a step down for Hill. I really do think so. And if he has anything left, again, he's got the knee problems or the Achilles problem, and he hasn't been the same since. But I just think on paper, he's a much better fighter. And I just don't think Roundtree is going to be able to get him out of there with his power. And I think Hill just outlands him and does get the win, if not able to get Roundtree out of there. So I do like Hill. I think he's able to bounce back and get this W. And more importantly, I think that the wrong fighter came out favorite, and that's why now you see Hill as about a minus 110, minus 115 favorite. I think that's right. I think Hill should probably be about a minus 150 favorite, where he wins this fight 6 out of 10 times, probably even a little bit higher than that. But there's a lot of recency bias in that main event. And that's what that price reflects. And I think that's why you saw that steam come in on the Hill side, and I agree with it 100%.
We have a question from the chat, Yanni. David Havley says, Yanni, please advise, is Kevin Lee washed?
No, man, listen, Kevin Lee could grapple with the best of them. That's the bottom line. But the problem is his chin. And when you get to the UFC level, you got to be well-rounded. You can't be a one-trick pony. Those days are gone. I mean, unless you're like such a specialist, you're at that Khabib level where they know what you're going to do and they still can't stop it. That's a beautiful thing. But more times than not, you got to be just well-rounded. And I think that's the problem that Kevin Lee has. He came in as this elite wrestler and wasn't going to use his hands, and then got a couple wins with his hands. And that's what happens with a lot of wrestlers. They fall in love with their hands. They start to think, they forget what got them to the dance, and they start thinking, okay, now I could lean on my striking and my power, and they don't lean on their wrestling. I think that's what happened to Kevin Lee. I don't think he's washed up, but I don't think he's a top 5 guy at the UFC level. I think he's a top 15 guy at the UFC level, maybe top 20.
Everyone participate in the chat. We are answering your questions. And
Yeah,
I know
smash
that
that like button. Ariel ain't up early for nothing. There's a lot of things this young lady could be doing this early
I
in the
made
morning
such a mistake today, and I was going to tell Dan this before, but I was racing. Every Saturday I race onto this show, hence my hair is in a clip. I'm going to the Yankees game, which starts, like, this show will end 11:45. Yankees game's at 1:05 Eastern, so I've got to book it to the Bronx. But then I decided, oh, my dog's in daycare. I'm going to do laundry. Moron. Absolute moron. Not a sharp call at all. So I've got laundry going, and in Manhattan, you have to go downstairs to do your laundry. Just like totally effed up.
Dude, look at this is the kind of girl these men should all be. Look,
you got to do it all. I got the newsletter
amazing.
This morning,
you are
Yanni.
Absolutely amazing. And early in the morning, no, not even all made up or anything.
I wasn't home at 11 p.m.
Amazing.
Smart, sharp call. Go home at 11. Don't wait in line for the bar. There was a line at the bar. I said to my sister, I'm sorry, happy birthday. I am out of here. Titan CT wants to know, Brewers Twins. Any thoughts, Yanni?
Brewers Twins, I'll tell you real quick. I don't like to blindly. I like to tell them what I see.
No, I agree. People ask me questions. I'm like,
Milwaukee, Minnesota. My money's on Minnesota. Put me on Minnesota and put me on the under. I think worst is 1-1. I think you bet Minnesota, you bet the under. The worst that happens is you split. Good chance at 2-0. Yeah, I like Minnesota in the under. I do. I like Minnesota a lot.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I mean, Quintana on the road, and Minnesota really doesn't, well, they strike out more against lefties, but Quintana sucks. Like, he has just been he's dropped down a ton. Yanni, someone actually wants to know anything about Rangers, anything or anyone on them.
Texas Rangers. I don't like Texas.
Kumar Rocker, he's inconsistent.
On the over, all the money is on the over in that game. One-sided over money and not getting respected 8.5. So pay attention to that. I would probably lean under in that game. I think it's a coin flip. I don't think there's much value.
Keller's much better at home. I don't like to back Keller, the Pittsburgh starter. I don't like to back him on the road, but I would back him at home. And Kumar
at home,
Rocker,
that's why the splits are there for Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh with the split, especially they lost that game 1 after that long road trip. You got to remember, they were playing how many games on the road? They were on the road for a couple weeks. Now they finally get back home. You want to fade them that first game back home because you got to get home. You got to jump off your laundry. You got to see your wife. You got to see your girlfriend. You got to see your girlfriend's girlfriend. There's so many things you got to catch up on after
your third girlfriend.
A 2-week road trip. Exactly. There's a lot of catching up to do. You want to fade them that first game, but now they got all those calls out of the way. Laundry's being done. They're getting back into their groove. You back them today. You take Pittsburgh today.
Yanni, I love college baseball. I feel like you guys have had, every time you come on a Saturday, the college baseball groups have not really been hitting. Have you seen anything for tonight?
They did it. It's because it all happened early. This is what I talk about all the time. Like, early on, in NASCAR, it's like that. In golf, it's like that. In tennis, it's like that. Once you get to the finals, once you get to the semifinals, the sports books have it a lot easier. You want to bet into them when they have 50 teams, 100 teams that they have to draw up numbers for. That's where you're going to find those inefficiencies. This far along in the playoffs, this far along in a tournament, the numbers are going to be so tight, you're not going to get much value either way. Like, you got to see that. Like, that's just the reasonable and logical way it should play out, that early on when there's 150, 200 teams, the market's going to be a lot less efficient than when there's only 4, 5, 6 teams remaining. The books are going to be on top of it. So that's why we haven't been doing much at all with the college baseball since this last 2 weeks, where it's been, narrowed down. The field has been narrowed down a lot. I can tell you that I did see some Coastal Carolina as at plus money. I saw Coastal Carolina and under 8.5 in some sharp accounts. But again, I haven't used any of the baseball since over the last 2 weeks or so, because all the money was made early on in the tournament.
I have to think that people would be loving LSU. Like, I would have to think the public side would be LSU.
And that's why it's a little bit, it was overvalued. They brought him out at like minus 165.
Like, Coastal their pitching is solid. Solid pitching. LSU's got bats, but Coastal's got solid pitching. And I feel like the public's going to be on LSU.
They are. And like I said, I did see some sharp accounts that took like plus 130, plus 140 on Coastal Carolina. I think that's a good bet. And they also went under 8.5. That's why you're looking at 8 right now.
You're going to get
Great,
your best
Tessie,
interest
good
They've had a
bet
few
with that
days
future
off.
on Coastal Carolina. Dude, don't hedge. Again, if you like LSU, you should hedge. If you think you're on the wrong side, you should hedge. Or if it's life-changing money, you should hedge. But otherwise, you got a plus 120 dog at 14-1. You got the best of it, bro. Kick your feet up. Hopefully they go out there and win a game for you and get you your money. But I like Coastal Carolina. I think they're live in this one for sure.
Yeah, and the under almost seems too easy just because you've got the best pitching going out there and they've had a few days off, each of these teams. But yeah, I do like Coastal for college baseball. Yanni, what are you promoting today?
All right, I got my MMA package up. That goes down in like the next 40 minutes because it starts early. Don't forget, 12 p.m. Eastern, the UFC starts. That package will come down. There's a 5% in there. There's a 4% in there. In the next 15 minutes to 30 minutes, you'll get more MMA in there. Major League Baseball will be coming out within the next 60 minutes as well, sitting at number 1 in profit overall for 2025 baseball. Right now, number 2 in profit for 2025 overall. And number 1 on those 5% moves over the last 365. So good time to jump on board. Don't forget, live Steam Room starts in an hour and 45 minutes. So the UFC will be going on. I have the TV set up in my office. I will be watching the UFC during the Steam Room. Hopefully we get some live bets, and we'll go over the card as well in baseball and anything else. There to answer questions, there to go over results, and be accountable for the work. I promised you guys 2025 would be a winning year. Can't guarantee it, but so far, so good. So far, so good.
When Yanni says it, we bet it. Yanni the Greek, thank you as always for coming on a Saturday live call. Coming up now, we've got more baseball to talk about because he's staying a week for us all the way on the other side of the world. Mr. Tokyo Brandon is joining the show, and we have to let him go to bed. So let's get some picks for Major League Baseball today. I know you like a few different games, so let's start with the Astros and the Angels. Why are you looking there?
Okay, I'm actually not going to bed that early because I have a show right after this one, Ariel. I'm going to be doing an hour show about MLB on my own. So that'll be fun. So
wait, tell us about it. You're doing, well, I was trying to make my coffee at the same time as you and Dan were chatting. So you're doing a solo show by yourself, first time ever.
Correct. First time ever. I'm going to be the host. I'm going to be the guest. I'm going to be pretty much everything. And we'll see how it goes. I'm probably not the most entertaining guy in the world, but that's why I have this. So we'll get it done. We'll get it done. It's nighttime over here, not morning. So don't bag on me for drinking liquor. So
it's okay. Once
1
baseball
hour
starts here on the East Coast at 1:05, then you're allowed to drink. So
yeah. And another thing is we do a weekday every weekday at 9 a.m. Or 10 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, we do that. And but I'm going to do this one by myself. So I'm going to throw in some KBO Korean, little Japanese baseball, all kinds of fun stuff. So it'll be a good time right after this show. So I'm up all night.
Well, let's get a little preview then. We get a little preview.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
You like Astros-Angels game today. That one's at 9:38 p.m. Eastern time. Houston's got their lefty Brandon Walter pitching. Angels, Jose Soriano. Why are you looking at this one?
Yeah. So I have a little segment I do on our daily show. It's called Chronic Walkers. And Jose Soriano definitely falls into the category of chronic walker. As a matter of fact, I have him the number 11 walker in all of MLB. So how does Houston do? Well, they walk about 3.4 times a game. So I like Soriano's walk prop. I like him to go over 1.5. I saw it at 1.5, but these walk props change. They go up and down pretty quickly. So if it's 2.5, I still like the over, but you could probably get 2.5 for plus money. So make it a smaller bet and get some plus money on that if it's 2.5. But before the show, I checked it. It was 1.5 for like minus 170, a little steep, but he's a chronic walker and he walks people all the time. Love to do Soriano's walk props. There's a couple pitchers I have pigeonholed for every time they come up. I check how the other team walks against him, and Houston walks quite a bit, 3.4 times per game. They rank about 6th in MLB for walking. The Giants are number 1, but the Astros do have a good eye for the ball, and they walk quite a bit. Soriano is a chronic walker. His last game against the Yankees, he only walked 1, but before that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 starts in a row, he walked more than 1. So I like his over 1.5 or even 2.5 if it's plus money.
Then you're also looking at this match between Atlanta and Miami, where this first pitch is 4:10 p.m. Eastern. Atlanta's righty Grant Holmes on the mound against Miami's Yuri Perez. Perez, he was supposed to be an absolute flamethrower, and then he got hurt. Now he's back. Still one of the youngest pitchers in Major League Baseball. What do you got?
He's not very good though. That's the problem. I have him I do ranks for my pitchers, and I have him ranked. I curve it on 30 on a curve of 30, and I have him ranked. Let's see, I have him ranked 27 on a curve of 30. So he's towards the bottom of starters in MLB. I got Holmes ranked actually 7, but I don't think he's actually that good. But he's still better than Perez. Bullpen wise, Atlanta has a huge advantage here. Hitting wise is pretty even, and that's kind of surprising because not a lot of people think of Miami as smashing the ball, but they've been smashing it pretty well lately. So I think the hitting is negligible. Huge bullpen advantage and huge starting pitcher advantage for Atlanta. So I do like the Braves in this one. If the odds are bad, I think I got it around minus 140. Not sure what it is now because I did this an hour or two ago. If the odds are not very good, you can always do a -1, which is a safe way to knock about 30 cents off the money line price and still not lose if your team wins. There's nothing more frustrating for me than like taking a -1.5 run line and my team wins, but they only win by 1 and I lose my bet. I really can't stand that. So I like to do -1s a lot more than I like to do -1.5 run lines. So I do like Atlanta here. It's a play I put out, a client play I put out. I think it was a 2%er that I put out to my clients earlier before the show.
We've got a question from the chat. Colin Gregory asked if you like the Royals or Noah Cameron over outs prop today.
So I don't actually. I did this. I
don't like
calculated this. Well, let's take a look. I don't like his outs prop because when Cameron comes up, the first thing I always do is I like his outs prop because the books had him very low, like 15.5. Let me just do a quick breakdown of outs props. Ariel, I'm sure you're the prop queen, so you know this, but what you do is you take the number of outs and divide by 3. So 15 would be 5 innings. So 15.5 outs over under means will he record an out in the 6th inning? And those have been cashing like an ATM card. They've been cashing pretty well, but the books caught on finally this week. So Noah Cameron's outs prop is 17.5. What that means is he has to finish the 6th inning for you to win his over. So San Diego is a decent lineup. They're underperforming, but they're still a little bit too talented for me to be confident that he's going to finish 6 innings in this one. So I'm laying off his prop here. Up to now, they were 15.5, and I was gladly stealing the money from the books, cashing his over 15.5. But 17.5, yeah, if you bet that, you're going to need some of this to watch that game because the Padres can smash, although they're not smashing at the moment.
In the chat, Pablo says, Boone fired? Get out of here. There's no Boone firing. What are you talking about? Pablo, we need a little bit of clarification here. There is no Boone firing. What are you talking about? I just refreshed X like 80,000 times. First of all, the Yankees are never going to fire him until maybe the end of the season. It's a very frustrating and sensitive topic here in New York. But here's the thing. The Yankees, what would they have fired him over? Would they fire him over? Again,
not winning the World Series with that roster?
You can't spread rumors in the chat. You can't spread rumors in the chat.
That's okay. I don't think
Facts only, Pablo.
Wow. I don't think the FBI is checking our chat, so maybe they're okay.
I'm going to the game though, Tokyo, Brandon. Is there anything in Yankees-Orioles today?
Absolutely. Let's go over it. We got Clark Schmidt going against Zach Eflin. So going over my rankings, actually, I have the Orioles hitting better than the Yankees, and I actually have the Orioles bullpen better than the Yankees. But Zach Eflin is ranked quite a bit lower than Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt he's a pretty good pitcher. He doesn't get a lot of credit, which is surprising because usually Yankee pitchers get more credit than they deserve. But not Clark Schmidt. The books don't like him very much, and they slight him on his numbers quite a bit. So I found a play that I like in this one, his outs prop. I project him to get 17.6, which means just under 6 innings. So I'm projecting him to finish or just stop short of 6 innings here. His outs prop is 16.5. Which means 2 outs in the 6th inning. I think he can easily get 2 outs in the 6th inning in this one. If you look at his numbers against the Orioles in his career, he's done a very good job against them. What worries me, though, is Eflin does a really good job against Yankees in his career. So this might be a tight game at the beginning. I might look at an under here, but Orioles are smashing the ball pretty good. I don't know if I'll take an under, but I do think Clark Schmidt will finish at least 2 outs in the 6th inning. So I like Clark Schmidt over 16.5 outs recorded.
I actually like Eflin over his strikeouts. 4.5 feels very low. I said this yesterday about Sagano. I don't know what the hell the book is doing right now, but they had Sagano at 3.5. And I was like, I get it, but that was low. And he had 4. Like 4.5 for Eflin. I just feel like it's still a little too low for Eflin. He had 5 against the Red Sox, 5 against the Angels. The only other time he went under 4.5 was in his rematch with the Red Sox. Yankees are averaging 5 strikeouts a game. Eflin, 6, 6, 5, and 1 strikeout last year against the Yankees. They're just continuing to book low strikeout numbers against the Yankees, and they strike out a decent amount.
They are. I would not argue with you on Eflin's strikeout over. Sugano also. Sugano is 3.5 every time he starts, which the books are going to catch on eventually and bump that up to 4.5 because most pitchers are 4.5 here. But as long as they're given 3.5s to pitchers that are pitching against the Yankees, I think it's a good one to take. Eflin has really good numbers against the Yankees too, and the Yankees currently are striking out 9.22 per 9 innings. So you figure if he pitches 4 innings, he should get 4 strikeouts, right? So I think that would be a decent way to go. Unfortunately, on my database, Eflin doesn't register. I don't think he's thrown enough innings in the last 30 days to register in my database. But I certainly wouldn't argue with you on that one. The Yankees are striking out basically once per inning. You figure 4 innings, he's got 4 strikeouts and could cover that.
You've got one more game that you're looking at. You're looking at the Red Sox and the Giants tonight. We've been seeing the return of Rafi Devers facing his team. Well, I guess not a return. They're in San Francisco, but playing his former team anyway. What do you like in Red Sox Giants?
Again, I'm going to go with a prop because you are the prop queen, Ariel. Bayo. Here's another chronic walker. So let's take a look at his strikeouts here. Yeah, look at his balls. He's walking more than 2 guys per game, and he walks a lot of guys. I have his walks at over 1.5 here. Should be able to hit that pretty easily. Although my walks props have been a little bit cold these last few days, but like I mentioned earlier in the show, San Francisco walks more than any other team in MLB currently. How many times? They're walking 4.2 times per game. And Bayo is walking more than 2 guys per game. Comes out to an average of 3.2 walks projection for Bayo. If you can get a 1.5, definitely I would take the over. I think I got it at minus 160 something. Usually when the odds get that steep, the book bumps it up to 2.5. I don't know if I would take a 2.5. Well, maybe I would if it's pretty good plus money. But Bayo, chronic walker, I would take his over 1.5 walks prop in this one.
Tokyo Brandon, before I let you go, Leg Show Magazine wants to know about Tigers Rays.
Tigers got drubbed yesterday. That was quite interesting. Today, Pepio goes against Gibson Long. Pepio's pitched really good this season. I did put a play out on this. Let me see what it was. I don't have them all memorized. I wish I did. Let's see. Yeah, I like Tampa Bay in this one. They have the better starter, and Tampa Bay is hitting pretty well, actually. The Detroit lineup worries me a little, and also can Tampa Bay win 2 in a row? Little concerns here, but if you look at Pepio, he's been awesome. The Rays are hitting number 2 in all of the MLB in current form, and their bullpen is top 10. So can't really argue with that. Yes, Detroit is hitting number 6 in MLB. They have a good bullpen as well, but I think the pitching advantage is way in the favor of Tampa Bay, and I like the Rays here. Just a small one though, because Detroit still is the number 1 team in MLB as far as record is concerned. So betting against them, you have to kind of have to have one of these at hand if you're going to bet against the Tigers. But I think Pepio can take care of business today against Detroit.
Tokyo Brandon, what are you promoting today?
So I'm going to do a show right after last call is over at noon Eastern. You guys can tune in. I'm going to share my screen and show you guys how I actually cap games. I'm going to talk about some KBO. I'm going to talk about some Japanese baseball. And I have a promo code, TB7. You can get 7 days all access for $69. I was the number 2 capper in 2025, but it looks like Gianni passed me by 1% today. So if I have a winning day, I can pass him again and grab my number 2 spot again. Eventually number 1, hopefully. I've been number 1 3 of the last 4 years at WagerTalk. I am plus 50 units so far in 2025. TB7, 7 days for $69.
Tokyo Brandon, thank you as always for coming here on Last Call. If you want more Tokyo Brandon, he's coming up after this show, hosting solo for the first time. So that's must-see TV. Last but not least, kind of, because we're going to have our producer Dan talk some Premier Lacrosse after this. But we've got to talk some NBA Finals. We've got some more Major League Baseball to get to. It is time for Steve Merril. Steve Merril, what's going on?
Did you just call Dan least? You said I'm not last but not least. Oh, actually, Dan, I don't
Maybe
know.
You're not. I don't know. I don't around on a Saturday morning.
Just because Dan's a married man for the first time in Last Call history, he's not least. He is last.
He's definitely not. I said.
I know, I'm messing with you. Least. No, you said last, but definitely not least. And he said, well, actually, Dan's coming up afterwards. So that's why I was messing with you.
Oh, yeah, I see the conflict.
Yeah, I see.
He's just not last.
I'm just stalling because I'm pulling up on my baseball numbers. So don't pay me any mind. Actually, let's talk NBA first.
I want to talk NBA Finals because we just talked a lot of baseball with Tokyo Brandon anyway. Let's get an early look at Game 7. Obviously, Game 7, winner take all. I feel like all numbers just go somewhat out the window.
Well, I did my video yesterday. It's been up since last night, but we didn't have some information at the time. I saw this morning that it looks like Scott Foster might be the Game 7 ref. So definitely have to mention that because I didn't get that in the video. And my loyal followers in the NBA know we love us some Scott Foster conspiracy theories. I don't know, Ariel. Does it help the Thunder? Does it help the Pacers? Who knows? Scott Foster might win the NBA championship. He's all about Scott Foster. Maybe there'll be a Game 8.
MVP.
He might find a way to make a Game 8 just so he can ref again. I do like the Thunder in this spot. I had a lot of charts courtesy of Ralph Michaels, Stat Daddy, the human data database, the pen, Father of Jeff at WagerTalk.com. And we popped them up in the video yesterday and their Game 7 charts. And Ralph sent over all Game 7s for rounds 3 and 4 over the last 20 years or so. And you'll see it on the screen here. There's not a huge edge as far as a straight up winner, home or against the spread or whatnot. But what jumps out to you are those over-under records on the side there. It's an incredible 11-1 to the under. And this is rounds 3 and 4. So it's basically the conference finals and the NBA finals over the last 20 years. The under is now 11-1. And here's what's crazy, Ariel. The average under has been by nearly 19 points. The average line's been like 190 something. The average final score has been in the 170s. And now we have a total of 215.5. So the question becomes, has something changed now with modern basketball? Yes, the Game 1 line was 230. Now it's 215. I do think a lot of the value is gone, but if history's in the indicator, You got to look at the unders here in game sevens. And by the way, in the NBA Finals, it's a perfect 4-0. And the average total score there has been in the 170s. I think the average total score here is about 180. The average of the finals has been in the 170s. So hard to make a case for the over in game seven. We usually see lockdown defense. The Thunder, I do think, bounce back at home here. So maybe the best way to play it, as I mentioned in my video, is a Pacer team total under 104. And, of course, I know you love some props, and I know you love fading Halliburton on the road especially.
Yeah.
I think he regresses in this game. A lot of people said he would have been out 3 to 4 weeks if it had been the regular season with that calf Achilles injury. He played okay in game 6, but still only had 14 points. And on the road here with Dort on him.
Prop, though, Steve. His prop was 14.5.
I know, and he still stayed under, right? Everyone's like, what a great game he had. And it was at home, big win. And he still stayed under. Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I feel like, though, I can't fade a star in game 7. It's game 7. You go balls to the wall, all
Is
out.
He a star, though?
More of these role players, guys off the bench. Those are the ones that I probably would be looking to fade, especially players like McConnell has still been hot for some reason. Obi Toppin's been hot for some reason. These are players that aren't typically hot. Now, last game in game 6, it got out of hand. So that also is why a lot of those players were getting the extra minutes like an Obi Toppin. But, I can't. Those are the players, if unders are more profitable, I guess I would have to go and try to fade some of those. Like, who would you say is a good player to maybe bet an under on?
I'm with you on Obi Toppin. In fact, I mentioned that in the video. He's had 3 double-digit games now. He's been shooting over 50% from the field from 3-point range. And here's the thing. I talk about that 11-1 game 7 under trend. You don't want to buck that. There's no question historically that game 7s have more defense. In fact, not only are they 11-1 under, they're going under by nearly 20 points on average. So it's not like the adjustment's enough. And yes, this is an adjustment of 15 points from 230 down to 215. But if you're worried about the total in the game itself, let's look at some underplayer props. I think the Thunder at home win game 7. So, yeah, I'm looking to fade Pacer unders. I still think Halliburton under is worth a look. Yes, he's a superstar sometimes, but he also just mails it in sometimes. And I don't think he's fully healthy. So I do like Halliburton under, but Obi Toppin's probably the top of my list as well. Off the bench, a guy that's overachieved. He was 6 for 12, 4 for 7 from 3 in the game the other night on Thursday. And just look at him before that. He's had 3 straight games of 17, 12, and 20. He had only 3 and 8 points in games 2 and 3, and he's priced at around 10.5 right now. I definitely agree with Obi Toppin under total points.
Anything else in the NBA, Steve, before we switch to Major League Baseball?
I think, if it's a lower scoring game, obviously you're worried about playing any over props, but I do lean Thunder. And I also think the Thunder team total could get there. That's why I like the Pacer team total under more. Chet Holmgren is going to probably have to have a bounce back. He had a bad game 6.
I've been waiting for this stupid bounce back game from Chet. Like, he should be having doubles this whole series.
Especially in this matchup, right?
Yeah.
And that's one thing I thought we've talked about.
Jared Allen, doubles. Cat, doubles. Like, everybody had freaking doubles against this Pacers team who's a big that could shoot. And the one that can't is Chet.
Yeah, Chet's inconsistent. There's no question about it. 2 for 9. 4 points in game 6. But if you recall, he was 2 for 9 in game 1 with just 6 points. And then he had 15, 20, and 14 the next 3. The problem, though, Ariel, is they've got him priced at around 15.5 still. And he's only had more than 15 in one of the 6 games. So a little bit inflated line here. But Holmgren over may be worth a look. Williams, SGA overs. You got to figure if the Thunder win, as I think they do, probably 2 of those 3 guys have to have a big game. Play them all 3. Probably hit 2 of the 3.
Steve Merril, what are you promoting today?
So we've got some baseball best bets. Also got a free play for the late night game. My Washington Nationals, since they snapped their 11-game losing streak the other night, they're now my Nationals again against the LA Dodgers. That's a late night MLB network game. It's free for everybody on my page right now at WagerTalk.com. And also, don't forget, 30-day special for the price of $14. That works out to $6 a day. No promo code needed. Or the 1-year all access, instant $811 discount. That works out to $3 a day, $1 a play, gets every college and pro football play next year, every college and pro basketball play next year. Maybe you don't get NBA Game 7 next year, but you're going to get everything else. And you're going to get baseball the rest of this year and the next season. And you also get a bonus 25% coupon you can use every day for the next year on any other cap or any other picks you'd like. Check it out, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM.
Let's get a little preview of this Major League Baseball card then that you're promoting. Steve, what do you like today?
Well, let's look at that Dodger National game here. I got Dustin May on the mound tonight. My projections have him having a nice outing against the lineup of the Nats, who has hit at just 136 average. The current Nationals lineup that has faced May is 3 for 22. So I'd be careful with the Nationals tonight. Always like getting that price down with the Dodgers. And we've talked about this for years, Ariel. You play the Dodgers, you don't lay the juice. You get them on the run line -1.5. And this works well in general with good baseball teams, whether it's the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, especially good offensive teams. It's much easier to cover the 1.5 run line and win by margin. And I think the Dodgers are in a good spot tonight. So I would take a look at the LA Dodgers -1.5 run line. That's -$1.30. And that is your late night MLB network game at 10 o'clock Eastern on Saturday.
Steve Merril, as always, make sure to check him out over on the WagerTalk platforms, especially his YouTube videos. So in-depth on the NBA Finals. He's been doing it all postseason. Last video, how did it feel, Steve?
Well, I thought it was Thursday, so it was a little weird. So Dan and I had to regroup yesterday and do Game 7. Thunder had a 70% chance. I think technically a 68% chance of winning as a 6-point favorite Thursday. So I knew there was a 32% chance I'd be back. But yeah, last NBA video, we got over 20,000 views Thursday. And we've already got several thousand after getting it up last night. And by the way, Ariel, right after this, I'm going to record with Dan a duo for the 2 Fox national TV games tonight at 7:15 Eastern. The Mets game and also the Royals and Padres game, both of those national TV games tonight. So I do have free baseball videos. Yes, the NBA is done, right? But daily baseball videos as well here on WagerTalk TV. So click subscribe and click that bell as well so you get an instant alert.
Steve Merril, as always, thank you for coming on here on a Saturday for Last Call. Good luck with your bets tonight. Before we let the show go, it is Saturday, and we didn't have any lacrosse yesterday, so we've got to pile it in. We've got lacrosse today. We've got lacrosse on Sunday. It is a huge slate, and I am super pumped. And Kelly and I gave out picks this week on the Prop Queen Pod. I need the #1 handicapper in Premier Lacrosse, and that is my man, who is now a married man, Dan. Welcome back.
True. It's true. I got the ring on and everything.
I think Kelly's still drunk from your wedding.
Yeah, no, Kelly's still drunk. I'm shocked though, because Kelly, we cashed the yes on getting Kelly to cry at the wedding. So that's how you know.
Do you know that you made her consider getting married?
That's insane. I mean,
From
honestly,
your wedding, she said it was some of the best speeches she's ever heard.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, they were pretty damn good. There wasn't a dry eye in the house, and like somehow we got lucky. There were like birds flying behind us while we were doing vows. It was literally a movie, Ariel. So now I'm hopefully we're carrying those good vibes into Premier Lacrosse Saturday. But as you know, if you make Kelly cry,
honeymoon, don't you?
Yeah, so honeymoon's going to be in Hawaii. We're going August. So like right before football, be able to lock in. So it should be a profitable continual of 2025. So hopefully we can pay for the rest of this wedding.
If you at least continue to win in Premier Lacrosse, then you could just keep adding boosts to the honeymoon.
That's the move. That's certainly the move for sure. But Ariel, like you said, huge slate this weekend. We got 4 games every weekend. But what's fun about this one is, if you walk into a bar, games are going to be on this weekend, because first one out the gate, Philly versus New York, is going to be on ESPN. That's coming up here at 4 o'clock Eastern time. Then you got ESPN2 tomorrow, and then an ABC game tomorrow at noon. So 3 of the games all going to be nationally televised. And I put my lacrosse plays through our man, Andy Lang. Like, that's where you can find them at WagerTalk. That's where the premium plays, so to speak, are. But, I love just giving them out for free right here for the folks. And I put in 5 plays this weekend. 5 plays. So it's either going to be a really good.
You had a hot week last week. You're feeling yourself.
Exactly. You and I, we went 2-0. So hopefully we can keep on chugging. You and I are aligned on a lot of props this week, which I'm excited about. So we'll start there. We'll start with the props that we have for this week. One that we're going back to the well on is our man, Jared Bernhardt. Again, if you didn't tune in a couple weeks ago, we were riding him right out of the gate. He played in the NFL. Now he's returned to the PLL. And this guy is a generational player. He just hasn't played lacrosse in like 4 years. So now he's getting his legs back under him. He scored his first career goal last week. And I think, you're only going to see him increasing to get better as he's seeing more field time, as he's getting a little more comfortable. So Jared Bernhardt, he plays for Denver. This one is going tomorrow at noon, ABC. They're playing Utah. We're taking Jared Bernhardt over 1.5 points. If you shop around, you can get plus 114. And that's a play that we're looking for. Jared Bernhardt over 1.5. Pablo, if you want cricket, Andy puts out cricket plays too. So head on over to that page. So you can check them out, wt.buzz/AL. Some ones that are going today, Ariel. New York Atlas versus the Water Dogs. A little trend here for you, Ariel. New York has never covered against Philadelphia. 0-8. So what? We're just going to be backing Philly because it cashes every time, right? Well, the Philly Water Dogs this weekend are the only team who does not get a bye week following their homecoming weekend. So all of the PLL teams play 2 games a weekend at some point during the season. Last weekend, Philly did that, and typically once you play the 2-game weekend, you have a bye. Philly doesn't. I think this is going to be the first time that New York finally covers against Philly. They're trying to wash this horrible taste out of their mouth. They blew an 8-1 lead against the Maryland Whipsnakes last week. So I like Atlas to win it outright, but I say we take that extra 1.5. So give me
And
Atlas.
isn't there a crazy stat about Bill Tierney? Like I think he's covered once. What was the situation again? I remember that.
So Bill Tierney is a Hall of Fame head coach. Incredible. Won a national championship, coached at Denver, and then he came to the PLL. And it seems like he doesn't really get it when you're laying points, because over the last 2 seasons, just 1-6 against the number as a favorite is these Bill Tierney head coach teams. He's the head coach of the Philadelphia Water Dog. Yeah. So the other thing is about that whole 8-0 stat with the Water Dogs, only one other time were they actually favorites in that game. So they're covering as underdogs against this team. Now they're in a little bit different of a role, and they don't have as much rest, and you're playing a team with added motivation. You're playing a team who's going to have a face-off advantage. So that's one I like quite a bit, is taking the 1.5 with the New York Atlas. And we'll give one more for 7 o'clock tonight, Ariel. And we're just fading Asher Nolting until we don't fade Asher Nolting, right? Like, from betting props, sometimes you find something and you ride it until the wheels fall off. You have to back
the trend consistently until it loses.
You have to. And, I'm not the pinnacle of health. You know what I mean? Like, I go to the gym, I go on walks, I do some runs. So maybe I am throwing a stone in a glass house, but Asher Nolting is not in shape to start the season. He looks slow. He looks like he's not really fitting in offensively, and yet they keep throwing up 3.5. To start the season, his point totals were 4.5, and now we're seeing 3.5. I don't see how he goes over that again. And we're getting plus money to back the under for Asher Nolting. He hasn't gone over. He hasn't had more than 3 points. He's playing a defense that kind of matches up stylistically with what he likes to do. And if they slow things down, it's going to be a little bit hot there in Maryland. Big boys don't like the heat, Ariel. I know, as a former big boy, I used to tip the scales around $3. So I know when that starts heating up out there, I want to be on the sideline getting water. Where's those cold towels at? I think that's what you're going to see in Asher Nolting today. So Asher Nolting plays for the Boston Cannons. Look for props. Look for the player points and go under Asher Nolting 3.5 and shop around, because that is plus money out there at that blue book. So those are 3 that we like here. 3 different national television games, 3 plays for the folks, Ariel.
Absolutely love it. We're giving out all different stuff on PLL on Friday, Kelly and I, and Thursday. I have it all on the YouTube page.
Well, that was after they finally let you just talk sports, after they were just berating you about Ariel, follow your heart. Don't let Kelly pressure you into anything. You know what I mean? I know you won't, but I'm just saying.
Here's the problem though, Dan. We're going to a PLL game in August in Boston. Are you going to set me up on a blind date again? At a game?
Just don't let you will find it all on your own, Ariel. You know what I mean? Like, whoever Kelly is trying to set you up with ain't the person you're going to be with the rest of your life.
I agree.
We know this.
I agree. We don't have this.
And also, coach has got to have your back a little bit more there. You know what I mean? Like, he was feeling the pressure from Kelly. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
blindsided me. Coach told
they
me he was going to
railroaded
have
you.
my back and fight her. And then I said, I was like, listen, you don't know how manipulative this girl is. It took me about a year or two to know her before I could manipulate her back.
Yeah.
He fell for
Ridiculous.
it. He fell for
Yeah.
the Kelly manipulation. She could get what she
textbook
wants.
railroading. I felt for you. I was watching the clips and I was like, they're just teaming up on my girl Ariel. This is ridiculous. So chat, show some love to Ariel on the live streams. You can check them out, obviously, with the prop queen when they're streaming live. You guys have to have Ariel's back because the people she bringing on the show sure as hell don't have your back,
They
Ariel.
love
So
to rip.
chat, back her up.
Dan, I can't wait for when I get married and I look at all these effers and I'm like, ha 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 ha.
It's going to be electric, and I hope birds fly behind you as well as they flew behind me. So
Me too, which is ironic because the last time I hung out with you when you were single was right before you got together with your now wife.
So honestly, it might you and Kelly, there might be some like invisible string theory going on there that you guys brought her back to me. So it all worked out. So well done. Well done all around.
I love to hear it. Okay, I've got to get to the Yankees game. Dan, thank you as always for those PLL picks and for
these
producing
tickets.
this show and for working your ass off. What?
I appreciate that. Thank you. Have fun at the game. You should cash some tickets as well. And we'll see folks next week. Great stuff.
See you guys next week.
You.